Greetings pimps, today we have a somewhat funny video calling out every supposed anti-state person in the entire world. Constant infighting, especially over what real anarchy is. Anarchy has no stipulations, no, not worker-owned means of production or lack of hierarchies either. To claim so makes you a ruler, fighting over terms like personal and private property. Your own body is private property, lil bro. Yes, private means of production. Capitalist business can exist next to communist business. A business doesn't suddenly cease its so-called exploitative nature by being ruled by worker democracy instead of monarchy. In fact, they're both equally awful. Imagine hating the state but being in favor of mob rule or king rule, or even desiring to participate in such drivel and thinking it's totally different from a state. Here's the funny conundrum too: if you believe one of these is involuntary, by default you believe they both are. Both involve a ruling being forced onto someone. Yes, this means both are forced hierarchies no matter what. One may attempt to claim it's different, as you can only voluntarily leave one or the other. This again is false and based on cringe infighting. The fact many will cry and virtue signal over is that you do not have the moral right to food or a job. You're not owed a job by the boss and you're not owed food by them either. You're not owed a job by the worker collective and you're not owed food by them if you refuse to work. However, they may choose to give it to you since you live in the community. The same goes for your neighbors in a so-called capitalist community. Neither are morally required to do so, but it is nice in my opinion. At the end of the day, all these virtue signaling anarchists on all so-called sides don't even understand their own nonsense. Either working for both is involuntary or working for both is voluntary, as they are the same. There is no magical spell that suddenly makes working else you or another person starve not exist. Someone somewhere must do something, whether they desire to or not, regardless who owns means of production. Shortly put, there is always involuntary force at play in both situations, albeit I would say it's from nature, not humans, but I digress. Not to mention most don't even attempt to avoid or choke out the state. They all pay taxes and don't even attempt to avoid them through means such as crypto, and some even advocate voting regardless if they do it themselves and the making of laws or regulations, just because they think it's about something good. State action is state action, pimp. Of course not every single instance of taxes can be avoided, especially sales tax, but I digress. Not to mention buying unnecessary items from corporations they claim to hate. And before any pseudo-intellectuals pipe up, no, this is not saying but you participate in society. Curious LOI. It's asking you to make a bare-bones attempt to thwart that which you claim is evil, and, stop supporting evil. Don't start with the say as I do cringe either, lil bro. Let's not get started laughing at people who hate corporations or the state but are putting their ads on their content. LMAO. Have a little dignity, brothers and sisters. Money may not be the root of all evil as some claim, but it sure does expose most anarchists as state supporters. This includes ANCAPs, ANCAMs, mutualists, libertarian socialists, communist socialists, and any other cringe word you want to make up to feel intellectual, especially the ones with multiple terms in it. LOI, get a clue. Of course, there is no issue with donations from fans or the like, but I digress. Hopefully the two people who listened to this entire video and aren't crying or angry or coping by claiming it's wrong take the lesson and run with it. Never seen a single supposed anarchist follow or adhere to it or even mention the things said here. This is due to the fact most subscribe to either a form of ANCAP or ANCAM ideology, and they all think they're real anarchist. Well, none of you are likely to listen or even comprehend this, but you should start acting like it. Will never happen though, as there's too much money to be made and too much dopamine to get by virtue signaling pretending to be anti-state on the internet. In case you couldn't tell, once the state's gone, I couldn't care less what you do. In fact, go ahead and create Trump Island or a worker-owned and ran commune if you want. If you're sitting there nitpicking terms or definitions or thinking you outsmarted this video, no you didn't. As the point of this video is simply to call out every anarchist on earth that just sits by and feeds the state and corporations while arguing over what equates to semantics and engaging in virtue signaling competitions. Never seen an anarchist that didn't think rambling for 30 minutes and posting deep philosophical videos was smart. Easy way to prove this would be to see the average anarchist response to this video. All the stupid would either ignore, perhaps thumbs down the video to feel smart, or start the typical semantics of thinking arguing against statements in the video is intellectual. It's not, it's just cringe. In fact, all the fluff is just to bait that out and get rid of all the superfluous fools not willing to do anything but complain on the internet. Go on now and cope. Tell yourself why all your fave pseudo-intellectual creators feed that which they claim to hate and make excuses. You won't see me paying taxes or advocating voting or running ads for corporations anytime soon, but hey, I attempt to follow my own ideology. No one is perfect, but you bozos don't even try. Funnier is the fact ANCAMs will think I'm ANCAP and ANCAPs will think I'm Ankum and tell themselves I am to cope. Clueless drones. Anyways pimps, that's all for now. We out.